It's bike tour number 2.
Today we took a look at the T.J. Evans bike path between Granville and Johnstown, Ohio.
While in Granville, we stopped for alcoholic ciders.
Plus another stop at the pub on Broadway.
Then it's another bike trail, the Little Miami Scenic Trail from Yellowstone to Xenia, Ohio.
There will be a lot to see and a mystery to solve.
Like the Scooby-Doo mystery?
No, not quite, but keep watching to unravel a mystery at a pub called Buccaneer.
Oh, I can't wait for that. But for now, how about some fun facts about bike trails in Ohio? Did you know Ohio has the most bike paths in these United States?
And those paths are part of a network of bike routes that are numbered just like our highway system.
There are 41 U.S. bike routes that travel across 26 states and the District of Columbia. Now that you know a little bit more about the U.S. bike route system, let's get to today's adventure. We hit the T.J. Evans bike path between Granville and Johnstown, Ohio.
We enter the bike trail at the Wildwood Park, which features open fields and an incredible wooden castle play area.
This is the second playground on that site. The original playground had lasted for about 30 years, and then a renovation was completed in 2018. Now, the new playground is much grander and captures the spirit of the former playground.
If you've got children, the huge play area alone is worth the trip. The kids will have a blast.
What a great starting point to unload the bikes and hit the trail right off the playground.
On the trail, we rode across several bridges spanning across small creeks. There were covered tree canopies, cornfields, and charming small towns.
The T.J. Evans Trail terminates at the Johnstown Trailhead.
A trailhead is where a trail begins or ends, and the trailhead was a small park with a shelter, parking spaces, and lavatories.
But also, the trailhead had a bike station, which looked fairly new. Now, the bike station serves as an air pump, bike rack, and includes tools for repairs. Very nice when you find one in good working condition.
Also at the Johnstown T.J. Evans Trailhead was the Johnstown Mastodon Preserve.
The Mastodon Preserve is an interesting story. The preserve is the location where a prehistoric mastodon fossil was discovered back in 1926.
People used to pay to see the mastodon skeleton. However, that was long, long ago.
The fossilized skeleton is still around, but you have to travel a few miles from Johnstown to see it. It was moved to the Cleveland Museum of Natural History.
As quoted by David Clifton, a local guide for Google Maps, today's site is a gravel road off the bike trail leading to a metal trail which leads to nowhere. No marker, no evidence of the discovery.
Not much to see there, but it is still an interesting story.
We found something else interesting on our ride back to Granville.
We happened upon a cidery called Seek No Further.
Yum, yum. They find delicious apples from all over the country to make their ciders. It's a refreshing change from my usual wine choices.
Interestingly, the ciders at Seek No Further are not as sweet as one would expect.
Even though ciders traditionally contain more sugar content than wine, but not quite as potent in alcohol.
We entered Seek No Further from a cozy garden patio shaded from the afternoon summer sun.
The inside is cozy with some tables, large cider vats, a large bar for ordering up your favorite cider.
We also ordered a flight of ciders that came in little glasses. They were arranged from the least sweet cider to the most sweet cider.
And even the most sweet wasn't as sweet as your regular apple ciders. I won't drop any names if you know what I mean. But it was perfectly refreshing drink on a summer day with an alcohol punch.
It was so good we ordered some to take home in these large refillable brown jugs.
Now those are called growlers, just in case you didn't know. And be sure to take a look around. They have lots of merch to go along with your purchases.
Our last stop was called the Pub on Broadway.
Now, foot traffic was light on a Saturday, with people mulling about several restaurants, pubs, and shops all along the main street.
The Pub on Broadway is on the first floor of a two-story building that gleamed with small-town charm.
The inside was full of wood from ceiling to floor.
With the large wooden shutters folded back, the daylight burst through the tavern.
Then there was a large wraparound bar where you can order from their large selection of beers.
After our bike ride, we were hungry, so we took a look at the menu. The Pub on Broadway has the usual pub, offerings from sandwiches to wraps to pastas and pizzas.
Now, I had a margarita and a buffalo chicken wrap, a delicious wrap with crispy buffalo chicken strips. It was complemented by a side of chips.
And I downed a Bud Light plus had a corned beef Reuben. It was very hearty and satisfying. There was the choice of sides, but I chose creamy coleslaw, and that was the best choice of all.
Last, we shared their blueberry cobbler cheesecake. It was a rich slice with graham cracker crust, a nice way to end our visit to Granville.
Next, we'll move on to the last trail we visited, the Little Miami Scenic Trail.
And we were joined on this ride with our good friends Val and Lisa.
Although the Little Miami Scenic Trail is 78 miles, we only traveled a small stretch starting in Yellow Springs and ending in Xenia, Ohio.
Any sign of Dave Chappelle? You know he does live in Yellow Springs.
No sign of Dave Chappelle, unless he was in one of those cars jamming up the traffic towards the center of town.
It was a busy Saturday, but we were soon on our bikes on a trail leading out of Yellow Springs.
The trail rolled along farm field vistas, bridges, creeks, and under a beautiful covered bridge.
After an hour of biking and sightseeing, we rode into Xenia, Ohio for some much-needed food.
Oh, that food. And our first stop was in Xenia. It's the dairy station. This place felt like a corner store ice cream memory from days gone by. There was a small shop offering floats, soft serves, twisters, sundae shakes, and even hot dogs and pulled pork.
When it comes to hand-dipped ice cream, the dairy station has you covered. With 36 hand-dipped flavors, it's almost overwhelming. There are so many choices.
And if you bought your dog, they've got something special for the pooch too. Look at that doggy treat cup, complete with doggy bones.
That's Val and Lisa's dog, Lucy. She came along for the ride.
And some ice cream.
Now our tour of Xenia isn't finished yet. Next, we biked to the Buccaneer.
It's a tavern situated in the Xenia Town Square,
just across from the Xenia Municipal Court and Greene County Courthouse.
Historic markers are all around the courthouse grounds,
like the historic cannon memorial to soldiers of the Civil War, or as they call it, the War of the Rebellion.
A more recent memorial was the Persian War marker commemorating soldiers from Greene County.
Back at the Buccaneer, we found a spacious interior for socializing and dotted with all kinds of signage from days gone by.
Plus, there are lots of gaming opportunities from pool to darts and more.
Then there's a large patio area with a spot for eats and entertainment. That's where we enjoyed our food out there in the open.
Now, have you ever tried fried mushrooms with cocktail sauce?
No, but that day we did. The mushrooms came with mixed reviews as cocktail sauces normally served with shrimp.
Normally. So following the unusual mushrooms, we also enjoyed some cheese curds, which were meh, okay.
You're so hard on food. Then we tried one of their specialty pizzas, the barbecue chicken bacon ranch.
Now, I didn't think I would like chicken on my pizza.
But you tried it and you did.
Yeah, it's true. I was delightfully surprised. The chicken was well complemented by the cheese, traditional sauce, and other sauces drizzled on top.
And now for the mystery at the Buccaneer.
In the courtyard patio, we found a plaque memorializing Missy Beam. But who was she? What happened that she was remembered in this way?
The plaque did not say much, so we turned to the staff.
As you can see, I'm taking video stuff because I like to chronicle our adventures, and many times I post it on our YouTube channel. And I noticed on the patio there is a message in loving memory of Missy Bean.
Hey, Michaela, do you know who this Missy Bean is?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought there was an interesting story behind it.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Thank you for indulging my question.
Well, that inquiry wasn't very helpful, and after leaving the Buck, we decided to do some digging on our own, and here's what we found.
Mrs. Last Day on Earth was a passenger on a motorcycle traveling on a country road south of Xenia, Ohio.
The motorcycle operator missed a curve and drove off the right side of the road, hitting a fence post.
The driver survived, but sadly, Missy did not.
Melissa Bean, age 27 of Xenia, was pronounced dead at Miami Valley Hospital.
Facebook post from her family shows a beautiful, vibrant woman taken too soon.
Was Melissa an employee of Buccaneer? Was she related to the owner somehow?
We may never know. However, we met Melissa posthumously at a quaint tavern in downtown Xenia, and she is remembered.
With the mystery at the Buccaneer solved, we'll wrap up today's episode.
So join us on our next e-bike adventure.
Or on a tour to some other interesting destination.
And don't forget to like, share, leave us a comment below, please, for our next episode of Forks, Knives, and Spoons.